Hey, vinyl community. So I've gotten a lot of comments on the last video I did where I showed the new way that I am storing my records, which is the record in the back. Now I've got the protective 4mm sleeve, I've got it in the MoFi sleeve, and I slip it in the back. And I gave all the reasons why I've decided to do this. And I did not invent this way. I'm a smart guy, and I could see where you would think that I would be brilliant enough to have come up with this on my own. I'm not. There are other people. I've seen a lot of videos where people do that. And I thought, I wonder why they do it. It seems like a good idea, but I wasn't sold until just recently, I guess. And so I've gotten a lot of comments where people have said either, Jeff, that's a great idea, or Jeff, you're out of your mind, and let me tell you why. And so I'm not going to talk about the people who agreed with me, of which there were probably about 500 people. I'm going to talk about the counter argument, which people have posed in the comment section of my previous video, which was, and basically I'm paraphrasing, but this is sort of along the lines of what people are saying. Jeff, there's a reason there is a record sleeve. It is to protect the record, you damn fool. What are you doing putting the record in the back? It's gonna get scuffed up because that's why there's a sleeve, so that it protects the record. And like, I hear you, that makes perfect sense. However, I also want to kind of rebut that, and I didn't want to type it all out because I've gotten a number of comments like that, and I didn't want to be typing out the same rebuttal to every single comment, so I thought I would do a follow-up video. So, point taken, you do have a point. There's a reason why there is a sleeve, and it's not just to show artwork. It is to protect the record. Now, granted, yes, good idea. However, and people, you know, in that argument, they're kind of diminishing the argument that, well, the sleeve is less important than the record. Well, hear me out here, number one, because when you are out record shopping, it's sort of like when you're single. I'm not single, so I'm speaking for single people out there, or I am talking about back maybe when I was single. But if you're a single individual and you go out to a bar and you're trying to pick up women, what's the first thing? It's how does the member of the, I can't say opposite sex anymore, the person that you are setting your sights on, first thing is, how do they look? Well, same way when you're record shopping. If you see a sleeve or a record where it's got ring wear, the corners are all bent up, they're all scuffed up, you got spine splits, you got just dings and cracks and all that. If you're like me, I'm like, no thanks. Same way, if you go into a bar and you see a woman, she's got greasy hair, her breath stinks, she's got stains all over her clothes, she's stumbling around, she's whatever, just talking really loud, yeah, all those things, you're like, nope, gonna move on, unless that's your thing. And if that's your thing, I'm not here to judge, okay? It's perfectly fine. But I'm here to say, same way with me and my records, okay? It's like, this is the first impression you get of the record, and I want it to look good. When people are going through my record collection, I want them to pull it out and be like, this is a gentleman who takes good care of his records. He must be a seriously big shot in the VC. He must be somebody who, this is not just a hobby. This person is a dedicated record collector. And I want people to think that of me. Now, to your point that, well, this is not protecting it. You could get your record all scuffed up storing it that way. Well, first of all, I don't know if you heard the earlier part of this video, but I keep it in a MoFi sleeve, and then it's also in a 4mm sleeve. And I am not taking, I'm sliding it in and out of the shelf. I am not taking a ballpoint pen and going around and around like this. I'm not walking across it. I'm not taking sharp objects and going like this all over it. I'm sliding it in and out. So it's not going to get damaged unless I have jagged record sleeves next to it. And the other argument was that, well, it takes up too much space and space is valuable. But yeah, but doesn't it look cool? Doesn't it, like when you've got records like this, it looks like you have more albums than you really do. So isn't that a thing? And you want people to think that you've got more records than you actually do. I mean, it's all about that too, isn't it? Isn't more better? So when people come and they come to your house and they see your record collection, if you have them stored this way, you look like you have way more records than you actually do. It's kind of like when you go out and you're dressed really nice, it looks like you have way more money than maybe you do. Or the kind of car that you drive, it looks like you have way more money than you do. So, and I'm not saying status, it's all about status, but in some cases, maybe it is. And when you're a record collector, bigger is better, more is better. So if you're somebody who you're just getting started on collecting records, this is probably the way to go, especially if you've got your record collection behind you. If there's a lot of gaps in your shelving, people aren't going to take you seriously or as seriously as a record collector, because it's like, look, this guy ain't got hardly any records at all. But if you store them this way, people are going to be like, oh, there's not going to be, at least the gaps won't be as large. And people will say, that dude has a lot of records. I'm going to watch his video. In fact, I'm going to subscribe to his channel because that dude's got a lot of records. At least I think that's how it works. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not changing how I'm doing, but it does give me pause. I mean, I do get the argument that, okay, it takes up more space and maybe your record is more vulnerable. And I don't know. I don't know that necessarily it is, but I don't know. I wanted to do a follow-up because those are some of the comments that I'm getting. And I'm saying, well, I've got counter arguments too. So what do you think? Do you think I should go back? Should I go back the old way? I mean, I'm only like about 25% through my record collection. So I'm not too far in where it's like, well, damn, like it's too much work to go back and change everything back now. But if you think I'm off base, if you think, Jeff, no, you got it all wrong, put them back. Do not put any more of your collection in this ridiculously irresponsible kind of storage, okay? Because I don't want to keep chugging along if maybe I'm totally off base here. And I appreciate you guys, caring about my collection and the condition that it's in. So anyway, let's keep the dialogue going. I'm certainly, still interested in hearing what you had to say, but I also wanted to give that rebuttal. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and take care.